Not all cars are created equal. Behind the shiny chrome, roaring engines, and slick advertisements of the 20th century, some vehicles were silent killers. They weren't just unsafe. They were engineering disasters, rolling time bombs sold to unsuspecting families. These weren't just bad cars. They were machines of destruction, hiding fatal flaws that led to countless injuries and tragic deaths. In an era before strict safety laws, profit often trumped protection. Some companies even knew the risks and sold them anyway. These cars weren't just dangerous, they were deadly by design. Buckle up as we count down the 10 most dangerous cars of the 20th century, where style met negligence and innovation came at the ultimate cost: human life. 10th, Ford Mustang II, 1974 to 1978, a disappointing legacy of compromise. The Ford Mustang is often associated with raw American power, freedom, and performance. However, the Ford Mustang II, produced from 1974 to 1978, has a much darker history. Born out of an era of fuel shortages and growing environmental concerns, Ford was forced to downsize the iconic muscle car in favor of a more compact and fuel-efficient model. This move came with unintended consequences that made the Mustang II one of the most dangerous vehicles of its time. The Mustang II was built on the same platform as the infamous Ford Pinto, which already had a notorious reputation for its explosive fuel tank issues. Ford attempted to salvage the Mustang's image by keeping some of the iconic design elements, but failed to deliver the performance expected from such a legendary nameplate. Underpowered and poorly engineered, the Mustang II lacked the structural integrity needed to support its high-performance aspirations. The result was a car that was difficult to handle, particularly at high speeds, and prone to rollovers due to its narrow wheelbase. 9. Kaiser Frazer Henry J, 1950 to 1954. A budget car with deadly shortcomings. In the early 1950s, Kaiser Frazer attempted to create a car that was affordable for the average American. The Henry J was marketed as a low-cost compact vehicle designed to provide basic transportation for a post-war population eager to get back on the road. However, in its pursuit of affordability, the Henry J cut corners that made it one of the most dangerous cars of the era. The Henry J was stripped of many basic safety features that were considered standard at the time, such as a proper trunk lid, glove box, or passenger sun visors. While these omissions were inconvenient, they were not inherently dangerous. The real problem with the Henry J was its ultra-lightweight construction. Made of flimsy steel, the car offered virtually no protection in the event of a crash. In an era before mandatory safety regulations, the Henry J was a glaring example of how little consideration was given to occupant protection. 8. Chevrolet Citation, 1980 to 1985. A deadly car of the year. The Chevrolet Citation, introduced in 1980, was hailed as a revolutionary vehicle by General Motors. As GM's first front-wheel drive compact car, it was designed to be efficient, affordable, and easy to drive. In fact, it won the coveted title of Motor Trend's Car of the Year in 1980. However, beneath its seemingly unassuming exterior lay a fatal flaw that would result in the car's notorious place in history as one of the most dangerous vehicles ever produced. The Chevrolet Citation had a critical issue with its braking system. Under medium to heavy braking, the rear wheels of the Citation had a tendency to lock up, causing the vehicle to lose control and spin out. This issue led to numerous accidents, many of which involved severe crashes and fatalities. To make matters worse, General Motors was aware of the problem but failed to address it in a timely manner. In fact, the company actively covered up the defect, providing false information to the Department of Justice during an investigation. 7. AMC Pacer, 1975 to 1980. The quirky car with deadly handling problems. At first glance, the AMC Pacer seems like an odd candidate for a list of dangerous cars. Its distinctive fishbowl design, with wide windows and a bubble-like shape, made it a unique offering in the compact car market. But despite its quirky appearance, the Pacer was a disaster when it came to handling and safety. The Pacer was originally designed to house a Wankel rotary engine, but when that engine failed to materialize, AMC had to settle for a heavier inline-six engine. This created a massive imbalance in the vehicle's weight distribution, making it difficult to control, especially in emergency situations. The Pacer's handling was erratic, with poor steering feedback and an inability to maintain stability at higher speeds. 6. Tyree, 1957 to 1991. A death trap on wheels. The East German-built Trabant, known as the TRE, is perhaps the most infamous example of a car built without any regard for safety. Produced from 1957 to 1991, the Trabant was a small, lightweight vehicle that became the symbol of Eastern Bloc automotive engineering. However, its construction was shockingly poor, and its design made it one of the most dangerous cars ever produced. The Trabant's body was made from a material known as duoplast, which was essentially plastic reinforced with cotton and wood fibers. This bizarre construction made the car extremely fragile, especially in the event of a crash. To make matters worse, the Trabant's fuel tank was positioned directly above the engine, creating a fire hazard in the event of a frontal collision. Early models also lacked basic safety features such as turn signals and brake lights, and the car's two-stroke engine emitted toxic smoke, which made driving behind a Trabant hazardous to your health. 5. Chevrolet Vega, 1971 to 1977. A car that should have never left the factory. The Chevrolet Vega was hailed as the car of the year in 1971, but its reality was far less glamorous. Beneath its sleek design, the Vega was plagued with mechanical failures that made it one of the deadliest cars of the 1970s. One of the most serious flaws was its aluminum engine block, which was prone to catastrophic overheating. This led to warped cylinder heads, causing the engine to seize up without warning, often leaving drivers stranded in dangerous situations. The Vega's thin steel body rusted so quickly that some vehicles started deteriorating while still sitting on dealership lots. Even more alarming were the reports of serious accidents caused by stuck throttles and rear axles completely detaching from the vehicle. Some owners even experienced engine fires and fuel tank failures, which were eerily reminiscent of the problems found in the Ford Pinto. The Vega's combination of mechanical failure and lack of proper safety features made it a ticking time bomb on the road. 4. DeLorean DMC-12, 1981 to 1983. A future classic with fatal flaws. The DeLorean DMC-12 is forever etched in pop culture thanks to its starring role in Back to the Future, but its time on the road was marred by serious safety concerns. Despite its futuristic design and stainless steel body, the DeLorean was riddled with dangerous flaws that made it a risky choice for drivers. One of the most dangerous features of the DeLorean was its gull-wing doors. While these doors may have looked cool, they were a liability in the event of a rollover. In such a scenario, passengers could easily become trapped inside, unable to escape through the car's small windows. In crash tests, the DeLorean's chassis buckled at speeds as low as 40 miles per hour, and its doors were prone to failing, trapping occupants inside. 3. Ford Bronco. 2. 1984 to 1990. A rollover waiting to happen. The Ford Bronco 2 was designed to be a compact, affordable SUV that could offer off-road capability without the bulk of its larger sibling, the Ford Bronco. However, its narrow track width and high center of gravity made it prone to rollovers, a flaw that became all too apparent as the vehicle gained popularity. Ford's internal documents revealed that engineers were aware of the Bronco 2's stability issues from the very beginning. During prototype testing, the vehicle was known to tip onto two wheels at speeds as low as 20 miles per hour. Despite these warnings, Ford chose not to make significant modifications to the design. The result was a car with a rollover fatality rate higher than any other SUV of its time. 2. Chevrolet Corvair, 1960 to 1969. A flawed icon. The Chevrolet Corvair, often referred to as the car that started it all in terms of automotive safety reform, became notorious for its dangerous handling issues. The Corvair's rear engine design and swing axle suspension created a deadly combination that made the car prone to sudden loss of control, especially when taking turns. The Corvair's handling was so unpredictable that it required unconventional tire pressure settings to compensate for its design flaws. Unfortunately, this critical information was not always communicated to owners, which made an already dangerous car even more hazardous. The Corvair's safety problems were widely publicized by consumer advocate Ralph Nader in his groundbreaking book Unsafe at Any Speed, which exposed the car's deadly tendencies. 1. Ford Pinto, 1971 to 1980. The exploding death trap. Topping our list is the infamous Ford Pinto, a car that has become the gold standard for corporate negligence and automotive danger. In an attempt to create a compact, affordable car to compete with foreign imports, Ford rushed the Pinto to market, cutting corners that would prove fatal. The Pinto's most notorious flaw was its rear-mounted fuel tank, which was susceptible to puncture in rear-end collisions. A simple low-speed crash could cause the tank to rupture and ignite, engulfing the vehicle in flames. Worse still, internal documents revealed that Ford had calculated the cost of settling lawsuits versus redesigning the fuel tank, and chose not to fix the problem, even after engineers identified inexpensive solutions.